Hi everybody, welcome back. In this video, I want to talk about the differences between aesthetic graphic design and strategic graphic design. I started a Facebook group recently. It's called Brand Design Masters. And one of the members of that group recently asked the group, how do you get design clients to value strategy? How do you get design clients to want to pay for strategy? So I want to answer that question for you here today in this video. So in my content, I'm always talking about the need for graphic designers to increase their level of knowledge and skill in brand strategy so they can add a level of complexity and depth to the graphic design that they do for their clients. But this is proving to be a problem for some people. A lot of clients don't see the value of brand strategy. They don't understand how it comes to work in the work, the design work that you do for them. So I want to talk to you about the differences between aesthetic graphic design and strategic graphic design, and how to communicate the value of strategy as it relates to design to your clients. So hopefully you can get them to pay for that level of work from you. The first thing that you need to do is you need to describe, articulate the difference between regular aesthetic graphic design and strategic design. So what I like to do is ask clients a couple questions. You ask the client, do you personally just really want to like this graphic design, or do you want this graphic design to drive results for your business? Now sometimes the client will say, well, I want both. But here's the thing, without strategy, graphic design will not drive results for a business. Now, whether a client or a person likes a design or not is purely a subjective judgment. It comes down to whether they like red, or whether they like sans serif fonts, or whether they like script fonts, or whether they like a particular textural element. It all comes down to personal preference. And in that kind of environment, the client always wins because the client is paying the bills. So the client and what they like or don't like is what's going to win. Now, when it comes to strategic graphic design, the brand strategy, the strategy of the brand, is what drives decision-making on the design. It's not a subjective choice of the client of what they like or don't like. It's an objective choice of what is going to perform in the market for that particular customer in that particular category. That's what's going to inform the decisions that are made about the design work. Now again, aesthetic graphic design relies completely on subjectivity. Do I like that font? Do I like that red? Aesthetic graphic design also ignores strategy. It ignores the why decisions. Why choose that red? What's the purpose of that font? Why choose that icon? Why choose that photo? It also ignores the results that you want to achieve. It may ignore the value proposition of the brand, whether the brand is premium, whether the brand is middle tier or value. It ignores the conscious decision-making that goes around brand differentiation. It ignores the competitive landscape. It may ignore the competitive category, the business category, the industry that the brand is operating in. It also may ignore the expectations that the customer has, or the decision-making criteria that a customer or consumer uses when they are making decisions about a brand in that category. In strategic design or in design strategy, aesthetics around the design are driven by brand strategy. They're driven by things like the problem that needs to be solved or the result that needs to be achieved. They're driven by things like the customer experience or what the market is that needs to be dominated. What's the consumer psychology? What's the consumer need state? What are the decision-making triggers that they are going to use when they're discerning whether to use that product or service or another as it relates to how the brand is presenting itself? You're using things like semiotics, which is the objective meaning of imagery and color. You're using the aesthetics of the category. So whether you follow the category or whether you buck and go contrary to the category, what the competition is doing in that competitive landscape. Those are the sorts of aspects of brand strategy that are driving aesthetic decisions in design. So let's take that idea of red a little further. In strategic design or design strategy, it doesn't matter whether or not the client likes red or not. Red might be what the customer is expecting, what drives that particular category. That product category might be driven by red. How does red affect the value proposition? So whether the brand is perceived to be premium or middle tier or value. How does it affect how the brand is viewed in its competitive set? How does it affect consumer decision making? There are tons of strategic concepts and drivers that affect design and affect the decisions that you make around the aesthetics of a design. Because without strategy, brand design is just a beauty contest, and a beauty contest is completely subjective. Those sorts of designs, aesthetic graphic designs, may or may not get the consumer to do what you want them to do. But strategic design is completely geared towards getting the consumer in that category, in that particular case, to do and take action in the way that you want them to. You have to impress upon your clients that without brand strategy, all the decisions they're making around the design are subjective, that it comes down to being just a war of the likes, and it's the whim of the client, and the whim of the client is always going to win. That kind of design is not based on any kind of empirical data or science or semiotics or heuristics or cognitive biases or shopper prejudices. When the question is, how do you get design clients to value strategy? The answer is, if you want the brand ID to drive results for the business, it has to be creative strategically. And that's how you pose it to the client. And when you pose it that way, I will guarantee you they will start to see the value of strategy. So before I wrap up, if you're looking for a bit of community, creative professional community, people to network with or to get feedback from or to find out about new resources, I encourage you to join the Brand Design Masters Facebook group. It's a private Facebook group that I just started. Just go to facebook.com/groups/Brand Design Masters. It's a private group, so you have to answer a few questions, but I guarantee you'll get in. And inside it is an amazing community of creative professionals. And it's also where I show up and spend a lot of my time. I do a lot of lives and add a lot of value in that community, so I encourage you to join it. So that's it. Thanks again for watching. I hope you liked this video on how to get clients to appreciate the value of strategy when it comes to design. And if you did, please hit subscribe below and ping that notifications bell so you can get alerted when I go live or when I post something new. And with that, thanks again for watching. Bye for now.